I have to upload it for my people. Yes. So, why is it some people have a high sex drive? Let me say hello to Chris Lindsay, who's on. Kimberly McCain, thank you for joining us. My good friend, Sharon Simmons, nice having you. Wendy Norton, nice, good. Excellent. All right. So if you have any questions, you just tell me. I want to cover so many things today, and I'm not too sure if I'll be able to cover everything, because one of the things is, besides the high sex drive, we're talking about why is it some women have a low sex drive. And then we want to talk about why some men have a low sex drive. But I don't know whether we have time for all of that on this one goodly day today. So we may need to put some for next week, hopefully. And I want to deal with the low sex drive, but both men and women in the same day, because you know how some of you people are. If we start to talk about that, the low sex drive in men, the men going to say, so why are you picking on the men? What happened to the women? And that is right. They do have their little issues also. And then if you talk about the women, they say, you see, they start to deal with women again, why they deal with the men. I will deal with both of them on the same day. All right. So, Carol, my goodness, my dear lady friend, wonderful having you. Donnie Baines, good evening. Joan, Bob Ward, yep, nicely, girl. I missed the program last night. I had some documents I needed to get out. I never went to bed till 4:30 this morning trying to get those documents out. So I really had to miss your session. I'm really sorry, but I'm sure it was quite an enthused group of people with your program, Hope and Action. All right. So let's get the topic going. I think we have people who have joined us. 6 reasons. And I tell you that I usually bring these things based upon the information that is brought to us from qualified people. And so I try not to do it off my head. And when I do, I actually tell you this is from my own research, my own gathering and so on. But this article really is peer-reviewed by Dr. Oliver Myrick, a clinical assistant professor in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. So they did this study and they went through this thing and they say these are the things that people generally grapple with. All right, so let's go. What the doctor said is that that there are people who have different levels of libido and sexual excitement. So don't get excited or discouraged if your sexual drive is not as high as somebody else's. It does not mean that something is wrong with you. Jacqueline Charles, good evening. Come in, man. Come in, everybody. It does not mean that something is wrong with you because you have a high sex drive. So don't let people call you a sex addict and all kind of thing just because you're flourishing. But you may not, somebody else may not have as potent and as active a sex drive as other people, and that is all right too. You see, we have to learn to live with one another in peace and harmony. That's right, telling you. Yeah. So, number one, when you look at it, the doctor said that the hormones levels change in people over a period of time. This hormone level, estrogen in women particularly, though men and women have estrogen and men and women have testosterone, but women have a higher level of estrogen and men have a higher level of testosterone. So when you have those sex hormones, estrogen and testosterone, progesterone, etc., it affects the sex drive. And a man with a high testosterone is usually going to call for sex more often than a guy with low sex or testosterone. And some of these testosterone drop according to drugs and some of the things that person's control of their body, how they treat their body, etc. And so a lot of people, men in particular, may not have such good sex drive because they're not treating the body good. They're not sleeping enough. They're drinking too much, etc. But that's the next thing. So it affects your relationship. You've got to understand that. But the man who's not drinking and the man who's taking care of his body and the man who has a good level of testosterone, is not deficient in testosterone, will want plenty sex. And that is nothing wrong with a gentleman. The woman also is going to also have, she quoted here from a 2016 report that found that estrogen for menopause or bone loss may be the reason for higher sex drive in some women. So when some women going through menopause and they take some of these drugs, estrogen particularly, which is produced naturally in the body, and they are taking it because they are going through menopause or to prevent bone loss, their sex drive goes up. Now, one would think that a woman's sex drive drop in menopause. So I just want the ladies and them who probably either approaching menopause or hit menopause or after menopause, tell me whether it is. Some people figure once you hit menopause, you don't want it anymore. But I met a 170-year-old lady who tell me she does want, her husband died 18 years prior, and 70 years old, she says she does feel for it. My goodness. I with you, my lady. I am telling you, die with a smile on your face. Go happy. Yep. And she said so. So don't let us write off some of these people, They have a healthy body. Dr. Jones says the lady rude. Not rude one bit. You understand me? I glory in the lady's spirit. We like to condemn these age people too much when they're normal. You see? Let them enjoy themselves. She said she does feel fine. Yeah. And she wants to get married again, but the children don't want her to get married. And many times the children don't want her to get married because they might have to split the property and split inheritance and so on. They're only thinking about themselves in some cases. Sometimes they're thinking about the parents, that somebody doesn't weasel them out of their money. But sometimes they think of themselves. I'm telling you. Yeah, all right, you see? Sharon says, now the thing start. Yeah, man, Sharon. That's right. Now the thing start. So don't let people fool you. Good night, Lyndon. Come inside. Come inside. Right? Don't stay outside in the cold. So this drug that they take, estrogen, which is born in the body naturally, and they take it artificially, increases their sex drive. And that's why some people's sex drive get high. And the men, if they're taking testosterone for low testosterone, then it could also increase their sex drive also. So that's one. Two, you could have a high sex drive if you're going through puberty or aging. Well, I didn't know that. Come back again. So we thinking one thing about old people. So we only think young people enjoying themselves and old people boring. And sometimes, an old person wants to marry a young person, but they're afraid that the old person may not be able to be capable. You talk to some old people. I am a product of an old man. My father made me in his 70s. You heard right, in his 70s. And I don't know if my sister is on. My sister, my younger sister, Deanne, she was born after me. And my brother is born after me. And he already made me in his 70s. And nothing wrong with me. Trust me. So I want to get rid of all of that myth that they've been teaching you all about when old people, they're supposed to go out to pasture. A lot of old people are quite healthy, strong, well, and enjoying it. And that is why anytime when somebody is widowed or he's a widower, they want to get married and society doesn't want them to do it because it doesn't look good. It makes them look rude as though they're up to slackness and so on. No. So they are saying when somebody is going puberty or aging, those who are younger may have a higher sex drive than older adults. That is what the doctor is saying. Because the testosterone levels in the men are higher in their earlys, in their teens and their 20s and so on. And that is why they feel that they are the village ram. They could lick down anything. They could bounce anything as they go along. Yeah, and they take pride in themselves. And of course, they stay up late and they're doing 2, 3 different women and so on, not to recognize that by the time they hit midlife or 30 years old, they have expended their energy and they are withered and dry, just like a leaf on the ground. Talk to me now. Yeah, Dr. Jones, I don't behave like an old man child. Yeah, thank you very much. But I am an old man child. I am a proud old man child. I never saw my father sick, except the time when he became sick and he died. My father died with every teeth in his mouth. No false teeth, no plate. Every teeth in his mouth, he died. John Donaldson said, this is a belief that most women with extremely high sex drive were sexually abused or had sexual activity as young children. I've heard the same about men to a lesser extent. Will this belief be part of your discussion? Well, not tonight, but you are right that, and it is right also that sometimes if a child is interfered with, they could go 2 ways. Either have an over expectation on sex and over an insatiable appetite for sex, or they can go with a low sex, they don't want it at all. They are unable to find that middle ground. But some have been able to recover and have done quite well. So it's not a myth. It does happen. And that's why people need help to get them through some of these things. Sharon, Mike, if your dad got you at that age, I guess in your case, the apple will not fall far from the tree. Trust me. Yeah. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah. Trust me. I like this thing. Would like that. But let's not talk about me. All right. So that's 2. Puberty and aging. And so they said, for the testosterone production increases 10 times in the young man. You ever notice that some older women looking for some strong young men? Some of these white people, white women, I know some people don't like the word white, but we call people black anyway. These white women come looking for these strong, husky, flat belly, muscled young men. It's because they high testosterone. They could go on and on and on and on. Yeah. So it is 10 times higher at that stage. But as the man ages, he reduces in his frequency, but not in his potency. Don't get yourself tied up. So the young man will go 3, 4 times, bam, 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 but he may not be able to score well. But the older man preserves his energy and he might be able to score 2, 3 good shots. But when you're gut shot, you're well shot. All the men talk to me now. All the bail me out here. Bail me out here and tell me if I'm talking thing. Hey, all the share the live yet? You share it to somebody or call somebody in the mind. Call your spouse. Call your friend. Let them come on. So John, I'll try and deal with that in another discussion. Number 3. So far we dealt that hormones, the estrogen and testosterone could increase your sex drive. 2, you're going through puberty, so you're going to have a higher sex drive. Middle-aged women, listen to this, people. Sharon, listen up. Middle-aged women may have a higher sex drive than younger women. Or let's take that. All those young girls who think that they're hot like that. Middle-aged women. And these are studies. They said a 2010 study of adult women found that people between 27 and 45 years were more likely to think about sexual activities, have frequent sexual fantasies, and a more active sex life. I know it's all of these 18-year-olds who walking about the place thinking that they're hot like fire. These people here, they are okay. So when you're telling them, I'm looking for a girl, I'm talking about you men now, and you want a young girl, you already joined pension, and you want a young girl, 18 years old, thinking that she's hot. When you have a 45-year-old woman that is hotter than her, and you're looking for that, and then next thing you know, it doesn't work out. No, man. Wear your size. Wear your size. And that's that 2010. That is not so long ago, recent study that they did that. So they said also, listen to these, all I think all of these young ladies out there easy. These middle-aged women have more intense. You know what intense means? This is not just joke and drop. This is where it is satisfying. Intense sexual fantasies than those who are aged 18 to 26. That's what the study say. I didn't say that. Let me call the name of the research again. Olivia Myrick, clinical assistant professor with the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. That is what they see. That they get more intense, and I'm talking about intense where they are able to enjoy orgasm in a way that they get fulfillment. There goes that myth. When all of those people who watch us have somebody who's aging and say that you wash up. You may wash up according to the studies. All right. Yep. Deep. And you see, the thing is, and I'm also going to say both the men and the women. You're young, you're inexperienced, and you think you have it going on. And you think because you got an explosion, that the other person got the explosion. No, the other person may not have had the explosion. But here's what they're saying. These women who are in the middle experience intense sexual encounters. This means not only them, but the experience itself that took place at that time is fulfilling on both sides. Remember, September 4th was sexual health. That's why we're running this thing again, because one, people asked for me to come with a second part 2 from last week. This is your part 2. Yeah. So hats off to all of you healthy 45-year-old and 50-year-old women outside of there. You rock your stuff. Yeah. Now, I ain't talking about promiscuity. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about enjoying your sexual health. Let me see what's going on here now. Your hormones play a big part in your sex drive, and changes to them can make them go up and down. The sex hormone testosterone is found in everyone. That's right, Simonette. Baird, regardless of sex or gender. That's right. A video day. And when your testosterone levels go up, it increases your sex drive. They're usually highest in the morning. That's why many men stand at attention in the morning when they wake up. I will remind you that I'm still on live public platform. I hope you understand what I mean by that. And I agree with my dear lady, Simonette Baird, that it is highest in the morning. So if you want a good thing, don't harass during the time when they're tired and worn out after the whole day. You wait like mapipi. You know what mapipi is? You wait like mapipi till in the morning. And you'll see. If you think fire was fire, you'll see things. All right, let me see here now. Joan says, I think she's talking about the middle-aged people and the 50-year-old and all of those up there that we say that they don't do anything. This is because you understand sex better
as we age. True. So you know how to, you know all the corners. You know how to do it better. You know how to have the ocean to perform the motion. They say when you look back, you can laugh at the nonsense you used to do. I'm telling you, and the actor say, but you're a madman. Chickity, chickity, bang, bang. Thank you, madam. Park up. That is it. Breathing heavy, thinking that they did the whole, and the person watching me and say, you done? Anyway, let's not go there. We might have children on the line. You know. Sharon said, we'll talk. Yes, fulfilling on both sides. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, man, all the rock. Attention! Officer, as you. All right, Beatrice St. Paul, good evening. Nice. National anthem plays early in the morning. You know, a lady told me that she was very concerned that her husband is having an affair. When I asked her to explain that situation, you know what this lady told me? She got up one morning, was to go to the bathroom, and her husband is asleep, and he had an erection, and they were not having sex. They did not have sex that night. So what are you doing with that erection? Or look at explain that to this lady for me, please. Or look at explain that. Yeah. Do you know that you could also have somebody a woman, who is dreaming about sex and having emotions while she's sleeping? Do you all know about that? You're going to call in Obeah now to cast out demons and all kind of things. Yeah. All right. Yeah, man. So we're talking about that. So they said that those, I really am happy for this research that would now change that stigma that we have with these older women, why men keep going for the younger ones and so on. And you bypassing somebody who's still in full bloom, in better bloom. From what this research says, they're in better bloom than the 18-year-old. The 18-year-old who only know, and that is why some of you guys just get heart attack in the action, you know, because those younger ones know speed. They might be erotic speed. But if you want passion, if you want intimacy, and if you want a high without drugs, an older woman. An older woman. All right. So let's continue. Point number 3. Those who just joined us, you're all missing when all you join eating. I don't want to come on 8 o'clock. Because after the program done, people have asked me, send me all the points now. Send me the live and so on. I tell you. So, people who are exercising, the study said, women who are exercising, men who are exercising, this air condition, they are in fit of health in many cases. The estrogen level, the testosterone is up, and they are doing well. Because they also feel well. And they begin to recognize that their body look well. They tend to enjoy some good sex too. And their desire for sex goes up because they are okay with themselves. Now, I'm not talking about fat, slim, all of that. That is not a measuring tool for health. I talk about people who are exercising. There's an instructor that we know in Tobago here, Alvin, for those of you who know. Alvin is a heavy set man, but fit like that. He's a diver. Don't underestimate big people here. Because you have thin people, unhealthy as ever, and big people, healthy as ever. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who are fit, exercising, and their body is in full performance. They are saying those people tend to have a good sex drive, a very high sex drive. Let me see here. Benton, not only you're late, you're very late, Benton. Where were you? Sandra Jack, good evening. And I know you come from one Zoom session, lucky in on this one here. You late too. Absolutely, the age men are more passionate. Well, yeah, man. You think you could outgo Alvin in aerobics? Man, listen, Alvin would put you to shame. Ted say, watch me with respect. I'm not sure what Myrtle McKnight wrote. I think you're correct, you're right, correct, or the thing correct you and made it wrong. Okay. Davika, good evening. So it's only one party exercising. Okay. All right. So it's hard to meet at 8 p.m. No, man, I don't need to meet at 8 p.m. Myrtle, you're late. Yeah. All right. All right. So, yeah. So the people who are exercising tend to do that. And here what she says. Those who are increase their physical activity, they said a study in 2018 revealed a positive relationship between physical fitness and high sex drive. Physical fitness and high sex drive. And that is why when a woman looks at a fit man, she perceives a healthy man, because nature's desire to reproduce health in its offspring will be drawn to a fit man. But a man who's also looking for a woman by human nature will be drawn to a fit woman. You get that? Yeah. And that's what he's saying. The fact that the researchers found that in women, arousal was heavily influenced by cardiovascular endurance. She's not out of breath easily. Just between us, you ever making love and the person out of breath? They're heaving as though they have to catch their breath. Some stuff could get real intense. People talk about how that you get to a point in this thing that you lose your presence of mind. What was the gentleman's name? There's a gentleman who he sang a song. The song he was saying was that he was in the act of sex and he never heard the front door open. And before you know it, another woman had entered the house. Oh, I didn't know she had an extra key. That part of the song says, I didn't know she had an extra key. It wasn't me or something, so I think it's the name of the song. Where were you looking for me, Myrtle? I'm right here. You were allowed to go until 8:30. That's why you. All right. Shaggy. It wasn't me. Yeah. He said he didn't even hear the door open. Because you could be so engulfed. Let me tell you, when you have a good dose, you could be so absorbed that your hearing goes, your eyesight also goes. You don't see, you don't hear, and you're in an euphoria, and some people lose consciousness completely. So you see this boring thing that some people going through, and they're watching, and they say, hey, you are in this house, but you're supposed to come this place, while in the very actor section. Or some men doing it and they're just going through as though it's attendees. You know? You all don't know what attendees is. Ted might have to tell you what attendees is. That too long to explain. All right. So physical activity make us feel more connected to our bodies and could increase self-image, says Camille Lewis, a sex and relationship therapist in California. And they said, when we feel good about ourselves, we're likely to want to engage in partnered sex more frequently. What does that tell you? Some of the problems that people are having in their marital relationships with their sexual partners, it may require you to just become more fit. And you could change around the things that are the mundane, routine, same thing every day, can hardly last. While the next person is beginning to arrive, you have already gone, you have already exited the park. You understand? Don't waste time with those lazy men. Yeah, we have to deal with them because, you know, it's not that they're lazy, they're unfit. September 4th was sexual health. So we have to help them to become lazy. Because let me tell you, that's a lazy woman too. If you're going to say about lazy men, we could go there and I could go there with you. Don't want to change position. They want to be preachers all the time, missionaries. That is all they want to do, preach. You know, one day we must talk about all these expositions, you know, but then anyway, I might have to do that on a Zoom and have people just register to come on and we talk about that because we can't do that on this platform. We have to be sensitive to the fact that we have other people. There are people who have used roughly sometimes 2 and 3 positions all their life. When there's clearly over 100 and something positions, including Kufum. You have to be acrobatic, you have to be flexible. That's why you have to be fit. Too bad for the preachers. Yeah, that helicopter. Them children talking about helicopter in school and teachers what don't have a clue what they're talking about when they talk about helicopter. Because you know, I go to schools and I lecture and I like helicopter. You'll hear them say that in, let's say you have a group session and so on, and teacher has no idea what the helicopter is. Teacher talk with a toy called helicopter, working with battery. You stay there. But as we say, that has to be a Zoom session, not live. All right, number 4. Let me give you a fast recap. Hormones give you a high. 2, puberty and aging also give you a high because those are the times that you have good testosterone and so on. You also have exercise that also give people a good high. If that person is fit, then you know that works good for them. Healthy sexual relationship is the one that we're on now. We just came off of exercise. And here's an interesting study that the doctor gave. You know, we keep looking to leave our partner. We keep looking to leave the person that we are with to find the sex good with somebody else. And here's what they found with their study. If you are in a healthy sexual relationship, if you are in the relationship is good, and not just in the sex. The connection, the connectivity between you all, good, communication good, you get along with each other and so on. What this research is saying, that your sex tends to be good because the relationship is good. There are people who ignore the relationship and hope that the sex will be good, and the sex is not good, and they go outside to be able to find it. And they go outside and they find the good sex. And they leave this one and they marry the one outside who gave the good sex, and they realize the relationship is not good there, but the sex is good. And they leave again. All you just understand what I just said? I hope you all do. Right? All I'm saying is, if you build healthy, good relationships, many times there's no need to leave the partner that you are with, because the relationship is good, and that tends to increase the sex experience also. Yeah. And you're right, Sharon. Too bad that some people don't explore, because some people just don't like to try anything. You try something, sometimes you just tell yourself, try something at least once. Try it at least once. And sometimes when you try it once, you know, sometimes there might be something you don't eat. Some people don't eat this and they don't eat that. And when you tell them, just try it once. And when they try it, they really like it. And they want it over and over and over again. Yeah. So you try it once. A sex position once. You try some different routine once, and you might find, hey, you know, this is not bad at all. This is not bad at all. It rocks the boat. They must have a good relationship. That's right. And I think sometimes I think we tend to build our relationship too much on the act and not the relationship, the finesse, how we relate to each other. They must be good friends, Motel says. That's why you make up sure you got a full package before marriage. Yeah. If you are friends before, but because we were sex mates before and the sex was good, we married the sex mate, and then after that the sex gets stale, what do you think you'll do? Leave? But if you were in a very good relationship without sex, you were in a very good relationship before, and then you marry, and then you're enjoying sex with a good relationship. That's why some people just clocked 50 and 60 years married. Just do damage each other. Well, what do you all think about rough sex? Yeah? Rough, erotic sex. What do you all think about that? Now, some people who join in here might be saying, why are you only talking about sex? That's all he showed us be about. No, that's not all the show was. It just so happened that September 4th was sexual health. So if you don't want to talk about sexual health, well, but that's why we talk about. Talk to me. Do you all believe, can somebody have rough sex and enjoy? Tell me. So while you're answering that, as long as no one is harmed, and as long as both people consent to it. So let me take what Carol just said. Carol said, as long as no one is harmed, I'm adding on to that. And as long as both people consent to it. So there are some people who like rough sex, but the person they're with, they interpret rough sex as being aggressive, as being manipulative, and as being selfish, because they may be in pain or they may not be enjoying it. That cannot be good sex, from my respectful view. Because good sex has got to be where both people are enjoying this experience. It's an experience. So get the consent, and September 4th, sexual health. The theme is consent. Get the consent of the person that they want to try. Would you like it? Would you want us to try it? And try it. And if they along the line they said, oh no, I ain't want it again and so on, then just accept it. No, they don't want it. What both of you enjoy, if they agree. That's right. Okay. We're coming down to the time now. So she says that the experience, it should be pleasurable. Especially once you're healthy sexually, it's usually pleasurable. You're going to want more of something that feels good, says the doctor. You will want more of something that feels good. And ain't that the truth? And it's pleasurable to you. So each person's responsibility in the sexual encounter is to make it pleasurable for the next. Not to make it pleasurable for yourself only, but to ensure that the other person enjoys it to the full. In that way, the person will want another rounds again. May not be the same night. Don't get carried away now. Take it down. It may be another time, but at least they would want it again because of the fact that they enjoy it. Joanne said that, yes, both people must enjoy it. Absolutely. Carol said, definitely must be consensual. That's why I would harm and not hurt. Okay, right, understood. Harm would also include mental and emotional, mental and emotional harm. So let's talk about one person wants to have an unusual sexual method. Anal. The other person doesn't want it and doesn't want to give consent. In my respectful view, it is wrong to force the point. Because if that person is not comfortable with it, chances are that person is not going to enjoy it. It's not about one, it's about two people enjoying this thing. And when we enjoy it, everybody leaves comfortable. Everybody enjoys it and everybody comes out winning. Okay, so let's go to the next one now. If you are less stressed, says the doctor, if you are less stressed, there are things that are not on your mind and bothering you, and you are not stressed out, you are likely to have a better sexual experience. But because we have so many people who are stressed out, they can't experience some good sex. They said the sex drive might be higher than usual because you're experiencing less stress. So you're going through financial problems. It's hard for you to climax. Well, for some people, it doesn't matter to them. They could be going through all kinds of things and they will just get a high. I rejoice with those people. But for others, as long as they are going through some stuff, they're going through some relationship problem with their parents, financial problems on the job, problems with the car, problems with the fridge, all of that sometimes affect some people that they can't even enjoy a good sex life. But the doc said a 2008 study said 30 women had their sex drives and cortisol level. Cortisol is a negative hormone that is deposited into somebody's body when they are experiencing stress. And they said when they did this study with 30 women and they had their sex drives and the cortisol levels measured before and after watching an erotic film, it found that women who had a decrease in cortisol, which is the stress hormone, had higher sex drives because there are less amount of cortisol and stress hormones inside of them. Stress is a killer. Stress is actually killing your sex life, Mr. Man. You're working hard all night. The lady wants you to come and spend time with her, to take her out for you all to just enjoy a good time. You say you have to build a house, you have to buy a car, you have to do this, you have to put on addition and so on. You are also coming home after all of that. and cannot perform in bed. Why? You are stressed. You think it's better that you just shut that down after you build the house and you get all of that. What is going to happen with the relationship? Man, listen. Let me see who we have on. Sex is a great stress buster, Carol says. Yes, in last week's when we spoke about sex, we did say that sex also reduces stress. It puts a happy hormone inside of you. Yes, yes, yes. Also a good cure for headaches. Carol, if it is a cure for headache, why is it so many women, when men ask for it, they say, I have a headache? And they, well, and if you all have so much headache, come in. Let me give you the doctor, what the doctor ordered. We could give you what the doctor ordered and get rid of the headache. Shirley, you're late. All sexual styles are personal to each. However, it must be shared, consensual, intimate movement, both enjoy it. Communication is the key. Absolutely. So I know that I've heard people condemn certain sexual things and so on. And many times in the religious community, people condemn certain positions and certain things that go on play. I'm not going to get into the kuchu with that. I do know that the Bible says that that the bed is undefiled. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed itself is undefiled. I think that it is personal to the people who are in the bed. You see? So that's my view. So I hear that, I don't know whether we could talk at some other time, the whole issue of oral sex and some of these things that some people have a hang up on. Some people say certain things wasn't made for the mouth and so on. Okay, to each his own. I ain't going there tonight. Davika, that's my husband, nothing affecting from that. I wonder if Davika is talking about the headache, that it doesn't affect her husband. Myrtle, if conflict not resolved between them, it's like rape. Yeah, it is rape, not like rape. If you are having a sexual encounter with somebody and the person did not give consent, it is by all means rape. And it is not only considered rape as a domestic issue, it is a criminal offense. It is against the law to rape somebody, your own spouse. Where there's a case law that will support that. So consent is necessary, and not only for the woman to consent, the man must also consent too. Yeah. I know of a gentleman who, one of his issues, after he done work hard whole day, and the woman brought him, and he says, this is not tired, let me do this tomorrow. But she was home whole day, she sleep, she bathed and all of that. She was a housewife, so she full of energy. And she used to hold him down. Yeah. That is rape, my lady. What do you think it is? Of course, some of us men would love to be raped by our wives. I just saying so. Hello. Anyway, sex is a killer. Stress is a killer. Oh, sorry, I thought it was sex is a killer. It's a cure for headache and allergy. Carol says, woman having a headache to avoid sex is a myth. All right. No stress affects even for sex. Actually, some men, when they are stressed out, ask for sex to de-stress. So, Davika, I tell you, hats up to your husband. Yeah. Yeah, Sharon, even though your own husband, it's a criminal offense to do it. So we need to let me. All right, so the final one now. We make good time, man. Did I finish this one on stress? Yes, what she was saying, which is something that I need to point out here. If you recently noticed there's a dip in stress levels, that may also explain an increase in sex drive. Once you get in your life together and things are under control, your sex drive usually increases. But let me hear you how far that goes sometimes. Sometimes there are people stressing out with bills, stressing out because they don't have their home, they're renting, and they have to stress every month to be able to get this thing together. They're stressing out because they don't have transport and they have to go wake up early and take 2-3 transport to go to work and so on. They're stressed out. And their sex life really gone through. And then over time, they get promotion and they get increase in money and they get their house finally, they moved into the house, it might not be finished, and they move on, their stress levels drop. But their sex drive raised. And they now horny with somebody in the world. So anyway, I ain't saying nothing. She says, sex is very physical. It's very mental and psychological as well. So it's not just about the physical. So the person must be in a position that they are psychologically okay. All right. Okay, any questions, people? Where are you all? Let me see what we're saying on the live. Let me see what people are saying then. All right. So let's go on the final one before we run out of time. Linda, they say this needs a part 2. Linda, this is the part 2 from last week that people asked for. Number 6. 6 I tell our girls. Next week, I think we're going to go on the low sex drive for men and the low sex drive for women. I think we'll do that next week. Yeah. If you changing medication, they said some of the medication we are on also dampen our sex drive. And many people need to go back to the doctor and ask them to change some of the medication they're on. So here it is. They said if you notice a sudden change in libido, your sex drive, it may be because you recently stopped using medication or decrease your dose. The people who are on antidepressant, says the good doctor, that causes a drop in your sex drive. And once you come off of that or reduce the dose, your sex drive tends to raise back up. Yes? 40% of people experiencing sexual dysfunction could attribute it to antidepressant use. You see what stress does do? But here's what I found interesting. And I'll tell you why I find it interesting. The goodly doctor said, people who are on antihypertensive medication, which means you're on high blood pressure drugs, used to control your blood pressure, is also dampening your sex drive. And if, this is the thing that confused me, you have high blood pressure, so you're on the drugs. But you're on the drugs for high blood pressure, but your sex life is dampening. So you come off your drugs for high blood pressure, and the sex drive raise. But your blood pressure can't handle it. So how you handling that now? You're between a rock and a very hard place. Because your heart cannot take that without the drugs. So try not to get high blood pressure. Try to keep fit. Exercise also brings down your need for hypertensive drugs. I'm not telling people come off it, but if you exercise, you could get some good help with it. Yes, Myrtle. Medication affects sex drive, and some people could come. So can it be too high? Can you have too much of a high sex drive? Not necessarily. Different people. Some people could do well with it every other day. Some people could do with it every 3 days. Some people could do with it once a week. Some people could do with it every day. Literally every day. And there are some people who will leave in the morning with it and come home to get it, to go back to work. And some of you know what I'm talking about. Don't play all that, don't know what that. Yeah. Surely, yes, most medication plays a role in low sex drive. I wonder how many men experience low sex drive post-COVID vaccinations. That might be a good study. That might very well be a good study to see if COVID caused some people to pull to the shoulder and let the rest of the cars pass. I don't know. Isn't this sex drug used to increase the heart rate for sex? No. Sex drugs? Oh, well, your heart rate usually increases. I thought you were talking about the hypertension. Yes, your heart rate usually increases. So you're an anti-hypertensive drug to bring down your heart rate and your blood pressure. And you using sex drugs to carry it back up in order to be able to do it. And many times the issue for men particularly is lack of circulation. Anything that affects your circulation is going to also increase or affect, I should more say, your ability to perform properly. Shirley says, women with high levels of testosterone are higher sex drive level. They also have, yes. And this study did say so, Shirley, so you are on target. They do have women with high testosterone because, as we said earlier, women do have testosterone and estrogen, so do men in different proportions. But women with a higher testosterone would get a higher sex drive. And that is true. Especially when they get married, sex all the time, no problems. Yeah, if you don't have to teeth it and you're relaxed, you're licensed to drive, yeah, they can pull you over and ask you for your driver's permit. Your license. All right, people, we give you 3 extra minutes for it. Let me tell you. All right. Gotta go. My son celebrates his birthday today, and I'm going to go out there now and join the rest of the family in celebrating it. So I want to wish Joel Stewart a wonderful happy birthday. My other son, Jared Stewart, is coming up. I think he's on the 18th. Hopefully, we'll be able to wish him happy birthday closer to that one too. But I can't remember what, whether I'm in the country or not on that time. Yeah, I'm going to be inside. All right, people. Thank you very much. God bless you. Happy birthday. Yes, thank you very much. His name is Joel. More black women than other races have high testosterone. I think that is what Shirley is saying. Yeah, man, where is it? Black. When you get black, you don't go back. Black people good. I like that. Ravika, thank you very much for the happy birthday to my son. Carmen, good, interesting topic. Thank you very much, Myrtle. Appreciate that. Congrats to the dad. Hey, Remy, good to see you. Blessed night. Thank you all very much. I am Michael Stewart. We are here on Thursdays, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. God bless you. And get help if you need to see somebody who gives you counseling. Just give him a call. 868-688-5363. We could do it on WhatsApp. We could do it on Zoom, any part of the world. Yes, sir. God bless you. We are out of here.